3 a.m., complete darkness. The silence over Montecito shattered. Not with sirens, not with headlines, but with the quiet hum of unmarked moving trucks rolling through the service gates of a $14 million estate. No paparazzi, no press release, just shadows loading boxes under the cover of night. This wasn't a celebrity moving to a bigger mansion. This was an escape. By sunrise, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex had disappeared. Staff members who'd worked there for years were let go without explanation. The security team that once patrolled the property was gone, and the grand estate they called home now sits empty, waiting for what comes next. People close to the situation are calling it the midnight vanishing. And here's the chilling part. They didn't leave by choice. They left because everything collapsed at once. We're talking about a cascade of financial disasters, an insurance policy suddenly canceled, triggering an automatic mortgage crisis, a $20 million clawback demand from Netflix, and a devastating decision from Prince William that labeled their California dream as nothing more than a liability. The fairy tale didn't end with a happy sunset. It ended with flashlights in the dark and a moving truck nobody saw coming. Today, we're going deep inside what really happened. We'll uncover the financial audit that made William refuse to help, reveal why one of their most loyal friends turned his back, and track down exactly where they're hiding right now. The mansion might be empty, but the truth is finally spilling out. While those trucks were quietly loading up in California, the decision that set everything in motion had already been made 5,000 miles away in London, and it happened behind closed doors during a meeting that was never on any official calendar. Prince William isn't just Harry's older brother anymore. Since 2022, he's been running the Duchy of Cornwall, a $1.2 billion operation that funds his duties and supports the monarchy's future. He's not just family. He's a CEO. So when Harry reached out desperately asking for a loan to keep his California life afloat, William didn't respond emotionally. He responded like a businessman. He ordered a full financial review. According to people familiar with the situation, William used internal systems to examine his brother's finances in detail. And what he discovered wasn't a temporary cash problem. It was a black hole disguised as a luxury estate. William allegedly compiled what insiders are calling the red file. It's a color-coded risk assessment. Green means profitable, yellow means caution, red means danger. Harry's Montecito property lit up bright red. Let's break down the numbers that reportedly made William realize he couldn't help, even if he wanted to. Just to keep that estate running each year cost nearly $2 million. Property taxes alone hit around $245,000 annually. Private security ranges from $300,000 to over $1 million. British taxpayers stopped covering that years ago. Add another $185,000 for insurance premiums before cancellation, plus $120,000 for utilities and maintaining those 7 acres in a drought zone. That's before Harry even makes a single mortgage payment. William looked at those figures and delivered a verdict that cut deep. This isn't a home. It's a financial disaster waiting to happen. Harry reportedly tried everything. He pleaded. He tried to make it emotional, arguing that his bankruptcy would embarrass the royal family. But William stood firm on something in place since the 14th century. The duchy exists to fund public works and the future heir, not to bail out personal mistakes. If William gave Harry that money, it could trigger a parliamentary investigation into misuse of royal funds. The meeting didn't end with encouragement. It ended with a directive. William reportedly told him, "The firm already paid the price for your exit. It won't pay your mortgage." Then came 4 words that sealed everything. Sell the house. The bank of brother never even opened. William's refusal hurt emotionally. But the real catastrophe came from something far less personal: paperwork. The breaking point arrived in a certified envelope, signed for at the service entrance on a Tuesday morning. It was a notice of non-renewal from their homeowner's insurance provider. The letter was direct. Their policy covering the estate would expire at midnight on Friday due to reassessed wildfire risk. For anyone outside California, that might sound like a hassle. But in high-value real estate, it's a death sentence. California is in the middle of an insurance crisis. Major companies are pulling out entirely because of climate risks. Montecito, with its thick vegetation and steep hillsides, is now classified as a red zone. Here's where everything falls apart. Losing insurance isn't just inconvenient. Under the terms of Harry's mortgage, reportedly around $9, $5 million, it's catastrophic. Almost every high-value mortgage includes a hazard insurance clause. It protects the lender's investment. The moment coverage lapses, even for a day, the loan automatically enters technical default. It doesn't matter if Harry never missed a payment. It doesn't matter if his credit is perfect. If the house isn't insured, the bank's collateral is exposed, and they have the legal right to begin foreclosure immediately. This is the trap Harry never saw coming. He bought a palace without understanding the risks. He purchased property in a wildfire zone, assuming his status would protect him. But banks don't care about titles, they care about risk. With the policy expiring in 72 hours, Harry had two impossible options. Find a specialty insurer willing to cover high-risk property for hundreds of thousands up front, or pay off the entire $9.5 million mortgage in cash immediately. He didn't have the cash, and he couldn't afford a new premium. The technical default clause was a ticking bomb. It explains the panic, the midnight move, the evacuation. They weren't relocating. They were running before the bank could take the keys. Harry probably believed that even without help from the duchy, his Hollywood income would save him. After all, he and Meghan signed a $100 million deal with Netflix in 2020. That contract was supposed to be their golden ticket. But as the insurance deadline closed in, a message arrived from Netflix headquarters. It wasn't a script approval or renewal offer. It was a legal demand to return approximately $20 million in advance payments. The reason? Failure to deliver on contracted projects. Here's what most people don't understand. When they signed that contract, the millions received up front weren't a gift. They were an advance against future work. Essentially, a loan. Netflix gives money now, you give content later. But nearly 4 years have passed. And aside from the documentary series, what else has been delivered? The animated show Pearl was canceled. Scripted dramas were rejected. The production pipeline went dry. Netflix executives are now reportedly calling the partnership a low-return experiment. They've decided to cut their losses. And when Netflix decides to collect, they file breach of contract claims. When that legal notice landed, reality shifted from difficult to impossible. Meghan reportedly scrambled to reach her agents, hoping to line up a new deal. But the response was quiet. The clawback notice effectively freezes their credibility in Hollywood. No other studio will invest in talent being sued by Netflix for non-delivery. The golden goose died. Harry and Meghan are now caught in a cash flow nightmare. They owe the bank. They owe insurers. And now they owe their main employer. The Archwell production company is barely operating. With no income and creditors closing in, Harry turned to the one person who'd never let him down, the man who gave him shelter when he first fled to America. Tyler Perry would pick up the phone. But loyalty has limits, even from a godfather. For 3 years, Tyler Perry was more than a friend. He was a lifeline. He sent his private jet to rescue them from Canada. He gave them an $18 million Beverly Hills home rent-free. He provided elite security when the palace cut theirs off. Harry likely believed the godfather of his daughter would never abandon them. But he was wrong. When Harry made that desperate call, asking for temporary security support or a place to stay, he didn't get warmth. He got business logic. According to insiders, the conversation was brief and brutal. Perry, who built a billion-dollar empire from nothing, had been watching their spending habits for years. While he covered their security costs, they were flying private, hiring PR teams, and maintaining a lifestyle that didn't match their income. He felt like he was funding their image while they invested in their brand. And he was done. But the real reason Perry said no goes deeper. It was about legal risk. Sources suggest Perry's advisors warned him about getting tangled in potential regulatory issues. With scrutiny around the Archewell Foundation and questions about tax filings, Continuing support off the books could expose Perry's companies to audits. He chose self-preservation over sentiment. Perry reportedly told him, "I helped you start over. I can't help you stay there." With those words, the safety net disappeared. The elite security team guarding the estate was pulled. Witnesses say they were replaced by a local contractor crew. Not tactical professionals, just regular guards. The protection Perry had built vanished overnight. This was the moment Harry understood how alone he was. William refused funds, Netflix demanded money back, and now Perry pulled the plug. They're no longer protected by the crown, and they're no longer protected by Hollywood. They're exposed. With the house empty and security compromised, they've been forced into what palace insiders are mockingly calling the era of the nomadic royals. Where do you go when you're a prince without a palace? The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have entered a new and unsettling chapter. Palace insiders have started using a new label, not the American royals, the nomadic royals. For the first time, Prince Harry is a prince without a home base. What we're witnessing isn't a vacation. It's high-end homelessness. According to financial documents, the couple has no other fixed real estate assets in the United States, outside the Montecito estate they just fled. Their next move isn't into a new house. It's a scramble for temporary shelter. Short-term rentals, borrowed homes from wealthy acquaintances, hiding behind third-party arrangements to mask where they are. One person close to the situation put it bluntly, "They're living out of suitcases now." And why is this dangerous? For regular people, staying in hotels is just inconvenient. But for high-profile figures who've claimed to face serious threats, this lifestyle is a security nightmare. Former intelligence advisors have warned that this kind of movement puts not only Harry and Meghan at risk, but their children as well. Unlike a private estate that can be locked down, hotels and rentals can't be fully secured. Hallways can't be sealed. Elevators can't be restricted. Surveillance systems are shared with building staff. In the hospitality industry, guest lists are often accessible to multiple employees. Every concierge, every housekeeper, every valet becomes a potential leak. Every time they check in, they create a digital trail. Every meal ordered is a risk. With security downgraded and mobility unpredictable, they've become moving targets with no shield. So why not just go back to the UK? Or buy a cheaper house? The trap is tight on both sides. Returning to the UK is reportedly impossible. Their former home has been reclaimed by the Crown. Public opinion of them in Britain is at an all-time low. And without official duties, taxpayer security would be minimal. Staying in California is equally toxic. Legal and financial exposure is mounting, and they've been socially isolated. And buying a new home? Not without liquidity. The Netflix clawback has frozen their ability to secure favorable financing. Banks read the news. They know income streams have dried up. A prince who once had full support of the British military is now reportedly sneaking into service elevators of luxury hotels, hoping no one recognizes him or leaks his location. It's not just financial collapse, it's a loss of dignity. And as walls close in, with no home, no security, and no cash flow, Harry has one final card left to play. It's dangerous, one that could either save him or destroy what's left of his reputation. It's sitting with publishers right now, and it's the only leverage he has left. So what does a desperate prince do when he has nothing left to lose? He goes on the attack. According to publishing sources, the team behind Spare has been exploring outlines for a second book, but this time, the tone is reportedly much darker. Working titles allegedly include Spare No One and The Heir's Shadow. Palace insiders are bracing for what they fear will be a scorched earth tell-all, potentially exposing private correspondence and details that were off-limits before. One royal aide described it this way: "If the first book was a cry for attention, the second will be a cry for money. This is the ultimate tragedy of the whole situation." Prince Harry thought independence meant walking away from the crown. But standing in the ruins of his American dream, he's learning something brutal. True independence isn't about rejecting a system. It's about earning the ability to stand on your own without a safety net. He traded the monarchy for the free market. But he forgot the market has no loyalty. It doesn't care about your last name, it only cares about what you can deliver. Freedom can't be financed with debt, and dignity can't be bought by burning bridges. The American dream didn't end with fireworks. It ended with a listing agreement and a legal demand letter. Now I'm turning this over to you. With his back against the wall and bankruptcy looming, do you think Harry will release this second book to save himself financially? And if he does, is he a survivor doing what he has to for his family? Or is he a traitor selling out his own blood for cash? I want to hear from you. Type survivor if you think he has no choice. Type traitor if you believe he's crossed the line. If you appreciate us digging into the financial reality that mainstream outlets ignore, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next update. The house is sold, but the war is just beginning.